Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our Global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in the state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits, only temporarily, those who participate in it. Everyone else is a victim of the theft, the deceit, the dishonesty, and the lies that corruption feeds on. You need to know that a corrupt person is stealing from you. Corruption is filthy work and despicable acts of treachery done under the table and behind closed doors. Corruption is a disgusting shame. Corruption keeps a nation back from true development and from progress. Wise investors steer clear of a corrupt environment. They would rather put their resources into a place where the playing field of opportunity is equal for all and not bent towards feeding the financial lust of corrupt, lying, cheating, thieving politicians and government officials. How many wonderful development projects have been lost because the investors didn't want to do business in a swamp of evil? When those great projects go to another nation or to some other place, we all lose. Believe me when I tell you that corruption steals from you, it steals from all of us. Corruption plunders the nation's wealth. Corrupt people compromise on truth, equity, and fairness, choosing instead to feed off the short-term benefits of crookedness, exploitation, and financial perversion. Corruption is not just a personal matter, it's a culture. It's a way of life, not just for individual people, but for companies, communities, governments, and nations. Corrupt nations, hiding behind large companies, will seek to invest in other weak nations in order to take over the assets of the nation that they've invested into. They will provide financial loans to a nation for the much-needed infrastructure, and they will do it with assets that they provide. They will sign contracts by lining the pockets of rotten government officials who participate in this kind of corruption and are then held hostage by their own deceit and greed. Corruption is nothing less than a form of theft and national robbery. A corrupt person steals from everyone in society.
Together, run, keep going on, less process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So just as I and I as a watchman, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Hey, oh, we gotta bash down Babylon walls. Prepare the way. Prepare the way for your people. Let's go. Fight down war and crime. Fight down. Me say Rastafari. War and crime. And do the righteousness. And we love. I will love Jaja, I will love Jaja, and we love Jaja, we love Jaja, we love Jaja, Put time away again. Listen, yeah. Just as I and I as a watchman, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace, but we penalize. Hey, oh, night. We gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare the way, prepare the way for Rastafari. Fight down war and fight down war and fight. Rastafari, war and crime, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah, and we love Jah, Rastafari, and we love Jah, me love Jaja, me love Jaja, Rastafari, preserve all. Me love Jaja, Rastafari. Yeah, the next song is going to be the last song for tonight, and then DJ Twink.
Just when we thought it was over, it has only just begun. A plethora of money has gone missing under Minister Green's leadership, under Minister Tufton's leadership. It is time for the thieves to go. Labor rights, good morning. Oh, no, torment me. Labor rights, me disappointed. Me know say, oh no, shame. And not even shame, because I don't have shame. I don't feel away. I don't feel away if I want to drag way over Minister Green. And everything, all of the thief we been calling Mr. Green all this time, it's been spread out like beach towel, right in front of you. I don't know, say nothing. Why you don't say a lie? Why you don't come out and come text it Pamela Monroe Ellis? Anyway, to my community party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning. Welcome one and all. Thank you for joining us here on the Global TV Group, broadcasting on our sister station on the Universal Vantage TV, on the Universal Media TV on YouTube, as well as the Global TV Anchor. And we are back this morning in the Devil's Playground on TikTok on our GTV Vantage Point. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Dr. Dawes has put out his episode 2. There was a misunderstanding in the timing last night, so pardon us for that. But we are, before we go to the mushu with Minister Green this morning, and we'll revisit the disgraceful behavior of the churches, because so much of them, rather than backing down, have submitted application for poor people in disaster zone money. Why this morning doesn't talk about Green? Hey, you know, so over Granny Mull now go talk about the disgrace where come out from UWI, Ministry of Agriculture, Darrell Vaz, and the whole of them. There is so much. This is why I said this year annual IC report is really kicking up a storm. Nick HQ no reach yet, and him keep inviting me back to TikTok every day. Everybody knows I'm in a tutu in a TikTok because can't bother with the devil sometime. Why TikTok violate me? This is the problem why I don't like over here because me not on a free speech. Hmm? Me not on a free speech over here. This is why I don't enjoy coming over here because my mouth too loose and church out and spread with a TikTok and TikTok want to tell you what to say and what to do. And me not join them policy there. YouTube and Facebook is where me get the little pittance offer. Little bit as it be. Me not get dime over TikTok. So me no want TikTok keep. Look how long me avoid you and as me come back this morning, 2 violations already. What is the problem? Hmm? Anyway, we're going to Tanya when nothing there for do. Because if it is that we not try to stifle free speech, if it is that we not try so we not expose the issues of lack of governance, accountability, financial embezzlement, downright fraud of the public purse, we're going to continue to shout loud TikTok. So the open violations. Me wish Donald Trump could have banned TikTok from the West. So it not there for get pan with nerve. Anyway, how to do? How to do everybody? Good morning and welcome. Morning and welcome, Elga Fletcher, Miss Uptown Colleen, Lynette Jenkins, Susan Williams, Arlene Scott, Ebenezer Cody, Debbie and Duncan. Debbie me there back on TikTok this man, but them start with it anticing over there already. Jamrock 8766, Barbara Simpson, Miranda Roddock, Nen Miles, Lossum Riley, Joan Bailey, Michael Nepper, Charlotte Grime, good morning. Cousin Dees, how you doing? Good morning. Who else is here? Club Social, Junior, Kyle, Debian, how no do? Is it Wissam Hadid? Good morning and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We're going to go straight to episode 2 of UC on life support. You're all aware of the debacle stemming from the recent IC report of the lack of governance, tax fraud, financial embezzlement, management crisis, and everything going on at UWI. So Dr. Dawes is doing a series, about 12 of them, where he will explain to us the different issues that are affecting UWI. So we're going to go to episode 2. Remember, we had episode 1 on Sunday night. Episode 2 was released last night, and we're going to listen now to episode 2 before we go on to the stealing of taxpayers' dollar by Floyd Green. And can somebody call the people of Southwest St. Elizabeth, especially those of Parity and Black River, who had it in for me during the general election campaign? I want to know, for those of you young boys and young girls who are sleeping with Mr. Green, how much did you get from that almost $1 billion that Mr. Green swindled? A billion or a trillion? Hold on, let me look. Let me look at how much 100 million. I think a billion. Floyd Green, wait there. 870 million worth of contract. Members say, beside that, there is $64 million worth of RADA asset. We look like Floyd Green give to young men for sleep with him and give to young girls for sleep with him. Because we know him, he was doing, as me been telling in a long time. So from COVID, Floyd Green have been doing these things, using the laptops that were meant to give out for COVID to solicit sex from young girls, possibly young boys as well, because Floyd Green, a cricketer, he bats and he bowls. Minister Green is a cricketer. He bats and he bold. So we want to know from the young people of St. Elizabeth, boys and girls, how much on a benefit out of this contract, because a whole heap of only down with fly green down there. For God knows what. Let us listen to episode 2. Then we'll come to the destruction of the churches and politics. So this will be 10 minutes uninterrupted, all right? Keep tapping the screen, TikTok. Please tap in the screen.
Welcome back to UC on Life Support. I'm Dr. Alfred Dawes. In episode 1, we laid out how the University Hospital of the West Indies has been crippled by overcrowding, broken infrastructure, and a procurement system so weak that the Auditor General could not find documents for over $521 million in contracts. In this episode, we turn to the people trying to hold that failing system together, the doctors and nurses, as well as other staff whose letters and memos show a hospital where morale is collapsing, workloads are unsafe, and leadership decisions are driving good people away. A senior doctor wrote recently to the medical chief of staff, "We are buckling under the weight of the large number of areas to cover." In that same letter, he lists 15 staff members who have exited or are expected to exit the program within 6 to 12 months, many migrating or moving to fellowships overseas. He warned that the new recruits were extremely junior candidates and cannot make up for the losses of the seniors, adding bluntly, "As you can see, our position is precarious." The Department of Medicine residents echoed this in a formal December 2025 letter to the CEO. They describe a progressive reduction in staffing levels, noting that vacancies have remained unfilled even when residents, medical officers, and senior house officers leave. Over the last 2 months, the department has been operating with only 6 interns. 2 of them were ill at the time of writing, when a minimum of 12 interns are required for the department to function safely. And while the UHWI claims there is no money and no space for additional interns, Jamaican doctors finishing training in Cuba and China are being told there are no jobs for them at UWI, despite the hospital's own departments documenting dangerous shortages on the ground. The same December letter from the residents detailed how just over a year ago, the department was forced from a 6-day work week to a...
Globalists, can you hit the like button for me, please? No playing about this morning. Can you hit the like button, please?
Strictly 5-day work week without any compensatory increase in staffing, even though internal medicine alone accounted for roughly a quarter to a third of the hospital's admissions. The residents describe working 9 to 12-hour shifts while being compensated for 8 hours and being pulled from academic sessions to maintain service coverage. They write that this pattern is unsustainable and undermines the structure and intent of the academic program. And with a call for an urgent reevaluation of how workdays are prioritized, because the physical and mental well-being of doctors is, quote, increasingly compromised, end quote. The consequences are clear in their own words. They are noticing increased sick calls and absenteeism among staff, markedly reduced morale and rising fatigue among doctors, prolonged hospital stays for patients because the daily tasks cannot all be completed with that staff complement. And as a result, there are higher bed occupancy levels and system congestion and overcrowding. In a teaching hospital, when academic time is routinely sacrificed to service an overburdened system, training quality deteriorates. That affects every future patient in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. Human resources management and corporate culture are not just about numbers. They are about how people are treated.
Can you stop
The
doing that, please?
consultants have already described a hostile working environment where there is no recourse for grievances and speak of an atmosphere of intimidation and lack of support by the hospital management. They warn that a single powerful person can engineer somebody's removal simply because of a difference of opinion and nothing related to job competence. Other documents support that picture. In one hospital-wide letter addressed to all prescribers, management issues a cease and desist order instructing doctors to stop directing prescriptions to be filled outside the university hospital's internal pharmacy. The letter warns that any such practice may be considered a breach of policy and will attract disciplinary action. And it frames it as a threat to the hospital's financial viability. So on paper, it looks like protecting internal revenue might sound reasonable. But when you place this alongside what the doctors are actually saying about the shortages of basic medications, inconsistent supplies of IV fluids, and the recurrent out-of-stock medications on the wards, it reads very differently. The staff are effectively being told, keep the prescriptions inside our system, even when the patients face delays, out-of-stock medications, or higher costs. And if you don't, you could be disciplined.
Right. I want to address this particular point because this is something I knew of. A friend of mine was on diabetic medication, not given by UWI, but was admitted to UWI recently. You know what the people them do? Change the medication because it's not been prescribed by them and them now benefit off it. This particular situation with Dr. Dawes, I tell you about, so them compel doctors to make sure prescription is done to be bought at the hospital because it's all about money. Let's continue listening. Trust me, this is what we know about before Dr. Dawes said it.
That is not a patient-centered culture. That is a revenue-centered culture that has no place in a teaching hospital. In addition to being short of colleagues to work with, the doctors also have very little supplies and equipment to work with. Periodic shortages of essential medications and inconsistent availability of blood tubes and IV fluids, which directly delay treatment and lengthen hospital stays, are far too common. They complain of critically inadequate supplies of betadine, which is used to clean areas of the skin. Not having that results in having contaminated blood cultures, resulting in prolonged admissions. There are shortages of contrast and injector syringes in radiology, limiting diagnostic capacity, and several clinic cubicles are non-functional, some without computers. Existing clinic space is no longer adequate to effectively accommodate patient volumes. And importantly, academic time is under threat. Doctors recommend protecting scheduled academic sessions and employing additional phlebotomists to draw blood and support staff if intern numbers cannot be restored. But these proposals remain largely unimplemented. This is what happens when leadership treats the UHWI staff as an expendable resource. Residents and interns are expected to cover more patients with fewer colleagues while also absorbing the fallout from the procurement failures, chronic shortages, and overcrowded wards. Consultants and senior doctors are threatened implicitly or explicitly with disciplinary action if they challenge policies they believe harm patients or staff. On top of this, staff point to unjustifiable transfers of senior directors, moves that are widely seen inside the hospital as punishment.
So you understand when Dr. Roger Hunter told us that the health care is calling 15,000 of us per year. What we are hearing from Dr. Dawes is that health professional with a heart is not allowed to intervene or challenge the bad practices that led to a lot of us deaths, a lot of our babies' death in the healthcare. That is what we are hearing in this episode from Dr. Dawes.
Rather than rational HR planning. When the HR director advised against one such transfer as it breached the rules, he himself was later transferred to a newly created role, thus neutralizing his ability to challenge the CEO's decision. One staff member who was similarly transferred reportedly became stressed, depressed, and broken. He later died of a massive stroke before his case could be heard. In one collective letter, resident doctors write,
Now, this doesn't also happens to good performing people in the healthcare as well. If you speak to a lot of good police officers, they go through the same thing where the minute they try to stand up, the minute they try to do what's right, they get maligned, they get put into some villages and forests, which makes their job extremely difficult or being just tossed from pillar to post so them not have a abiding city. So these behavior are right across government when it comes to services to the people. This is dangerous. These things are life threatening. This is why you see police is shooting down innocent young men. This is why you see you buck your toe and end up of the hospital at the hospital and you come out in a body bag because of the practices.
respectfully urge the UHWI leadership to give this letter due consideration and to implement timely corrective measures. A teaching hospital cannot function effectively without protecting its workforce. That last sentence is the core of this episode. The UHWI cannot train the region's doctors, cannot provide safe care, and cannot recover from a scandal while its own workforce is exhausted, undermined, and pushed out. And if replaced at all, with junior staff who are themselves set up to fail. The HR crisis at the UHWI is not just a staffing spreadsheet problem. It is a moral problem. It tells us whose lives and voices are valued in the system and whose are not. In the next episode, we move from the human toll to the machinery that creates it, the procurement and financial practices that staff frontline care while money disappears into poorly documented contracts and questionable priorities. I am Dr. Alfred Dawes, and this has been UC on Life Support. Join me for our next episode, Procurement 101, How to Get Away with It.
So the next episode, which possibly should be tonight, because they're being released daily, that next episode we expect, let me look if there's any premiere set. We expect to be released tonight if they're keeping with the momentum of the releases. So we are hoping to have that. This procurement episode will be something you want to sit down for, because this is where Dr. Dawes will explain to us how a lot of the money gets swindled and the practices that they use in their procurement to enrich themselves, to steal from the public purse. I want to quickly go back to the public, the PAC. I have to play Everard Warmington again. Hold on. Bear with me. Because I want to let me undo the thing. Let me reshare this. Because we don't call the PNP them for with it, no? Call the PNP them for with it because PNP can't sit down and hear how upset Jamaica is about the money laundering between the church and the government. And PNP don't have a position on it. The People's National Party must come out and make we know their position on the $75 million money laundering scheme between the government and the church. Because see, even the Prime Minister, henchman, cannot explain to Mr. Warmington what this scam, because that's literally what it is, what this scam with the government and the churches is all about when it comes to poor people's money.
Get the benefit. That is what I want to
You
clarify.
are correct.
All
As
right.
long as we can establish that there is the relationship.
Okay. All right.
We're
Thanks.
coming up to the Everard Warmington part.
So, Chairman.
Because this is very interesting.
Yes, Mr. Clark. My mic is on. You haven't pressed your button. I'm trying to turn on your mic. It's not. Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
Thank you very much. I'm still waiting on the answer that I asked. And I noticed that members who aren't willing to learn continue to ask questions over the question that I asked.
So you repeat your question because I'm sure Mr. Miller thought he had responded.
Mr. Miller went on to give an update. And because of him giving the update, members choose to ask questions of him. And so it would have felt by the wayside. Mr. Martin, sir.
Yes, Member Clark.
Contributors would have been approved of the grant. How long from the time that they have been approved that they can see something in an account for them to get the work done?
Once your application is approved by the branch manager, it's a very simple process. It goes to the branch manager, it's approved, sent off by electronic means. In 3 working days, you ought to be paid. Now, where you have a challenge is that there are different definitions for approval because a contributor may, for whatever reason, drop off various documentation and believes that everything is okay. And when we, great, you are looking at 72 hours. 3
working days. Ms. Burchell?
No, Miss Burchell, was me.
Ms. Burchell?
Thank you. Right. So, PS, I wanted to know.
I wanted to complete with him.
Okay, you can.
Oh, you wanted a follow-up,
Yeah.
Mr. Warmington? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Mr. Miller mentioned the issue that only contributors can apply for assistance.
Globalist, this is very important because I'll know Martin Miller or Muted Miller have not answered Everard Warmington question. We are nowhere clearer as to why the government is doing this at a time like now when poor people are suffering, when we are being told that one church has 70 millions in their bank account, and we are taking up disaster money give to churches to give back the government under the table.
For reconstruction and development as such, the hurricane damage, you're saying only contributors?
Or their immediate families?
Contributors or the immediate. Then I'm curious then. The church is not a contributor. So on what basis, how would you assess their application for loans and understand they're supposed to apply to housing trust for loans? And if they are not contributors, how do you assess them and approve such application when you are telling us now that only contributors can apply?
Laura Morris.
In what category?
How do you assess that? And they're not contributors.
Mr. Chairman, for many years now, we have operated what we refer to as an institutional loan.
No. Mr. Miller, watch me. I'm not asking about what happens over the years. I ask a simple question in a relationship if that the churches are not contributors and housing trust was established to assist contributors. And you are saying now the contributors are qualified to apply. I'm not interested in institutional loans that have been done over the years. I'm asking how do you provide for them? They are not contributors when you just say contributors provided for.
I am not aware, Mr. Chairman, of the specific case that the member is referring to. What we have in place is a facility that will allow, so you have churches that are member of a larger umbrella. So, for example, take the Baptists. So the Baptists could apply for a loan, provide us with the necessary security. As we all know, they own a lot of land. We have found in the past.
No, I'm not clear. Is that for residential development you're talking about, where they're acting as developers? Or it's for the church's own facilities? I think Mr. Warmington wants to know. Yes. In what capacity is the church benefiting if they are not a contributor and NHG was set up to serve contributors?
It is not correct to say the church is not a contributor.
No. Just a minute. Point of order. Correction. Can you provide...
Errol, why do I call this idiot? Martin Miller lied in Parliament when Martin Miller said it is not right to say the church is not a contributor to the National Housing Trust. That was a blatant lie. Something that he must resign for because he lied in our Parliament. Under no circumstances, an organization which is not employed, an organization which doesn't pay tax, how on earth it is that they paid National Housing Trust contribution? Is Muted Miller saying because members of the congregation are contributors to the National Housing Trust, thereby the church is entitled? And also the Lago, Errol, can the church show us their tax administration document that they are paying voluntary contribution to the National Housing Trust? Otherwise, they're not. So a whole heap of money are swindled here, you know, because there's a 75 million, which 170 churches already submitted application. 170 application received for churches cleanup program, said the SDC. So beside the 75 million that is allotted for them sideways, for do them rebuilding, which the Prime Minister comes switch him out and say it's for cleanup. Separate and apart from that 75 million, they're entitled to go and get loan from the NHT, which a supermarket worker will contribute. Them are going to tell you so you don't have enough points to get an NHT loan. How the church get into this? The churches have no grace here. I wonder if the membership is going to wake up and see the intention of the church. But then again, they are politically and religiously blind that they will defend it and go along with it. Just like, labor rights shame enough and defend the thieving of Andrew Holness and Andrew Holness' whole regime. Look at the amount of money that get blown in the wind, end up in an MPs and them friends and families and associate pocket on a year-to-year basis, and nothing not happening.
Evidence in this to this meeting that churches have been contributing to housing trust. How church can contribute to housing trust? My brother, hold on. Mr. Miller. How can the church contribute? The church has never contributed a dime. What?
Right now, Miller looks like a bitch. If you've ever seen a bitch on heat, that's exactly what Martin Miller looks like. This is how these people embarrass and disgrace themselves openly to protect the crime of Andrew Holness in Jamaica. Because Errol Miller know he's lying. Martin Miller rather know he's lying. Martin Miller know he's making a fool of himself. But he decided to continue embarrassing himself, embarrass Jamaica as to what numbskulls have we picked up and put in position of power that doesn't understand that what he's talking about. No, sir. It's disgraceful.
Social Security TRN they use.
Mr. Chairman.
No, what TRN they use to make that contribution? They don't.
Mr. Chairman.
Period. No, they don't. Please, Mr. Miller. The issue, you said that you don't know what specific I'm talking about. An announcement was just made last week. The provisions are made for them to get concessional loan from you. And their contributors who have applied to housing trusts cannot get loans because they don't have enough points. They don't have enough points, so they can't get it. So how do you find the points for the church? How do you arrive at that? I don't want you about institution and, umbrella church or Baptist or what have you. I don't, because I'm saying the church can apply for loans based on their financial status, because the last report showed that the churches have more than $2 billion in account. And they have vast acreage of lands. They can apply against that. And don't dip into what you have that is there for contributors. You have one church in Spanish Town, the Philippa Baptist Church. The last financial report showed they have more than $70 million in their account. One single Baptist church in Spanish Town, Philippa Baptist Church. So what I'm saying, you have poor contributors applying to you, they can't get it, but then the church just walk in over there and get it. I'm saying.
We're not hear from Sunshine yet, but we hear from Ladybug. It's the reception and power issue in St. Elizabeth with Ladybug, but Ladybug was on for a couple days last week. Sunshine, we haven't got an update yet.
That's what needs to be done now. Your board needs to change the rule that every contributor should be able to walk through the doors of housing trust to apply for loan without any assessment of qualification if the church can do it without being qualified, based on the record that you now have. So the point system must be eliminated now to justify what you're doing.
Mr. Chairman, can I respond?
Yes, you can respond.
If we were to look at the facilities that are in place to treat with this initiative as it relates to Melissa recovery, one of the first things that was made clear is that there are certain contribution requirements that would be relaxed for the individual. So for example, one requirement is that your contribution ought to be current. It was made clear. And it was
your contribution ought to be?
Current. Meaning,
current,
yes.
Okay.
It was made clear that that would be relaxed. So then we get back to the whole issue. Once you're a NHT contributor, you are qualified for a loan. The issue that
we're clear on that, Martin. That is what we're clear on. What we're not clear on, how the church fits in that criteria. That is the discussion. How does the church become qualified? This you cannot answer. This you dance about and refuse to answer. How does the church becomes qualified for NHT loan when the criteria is you must be a present or past contributor? How? Or the church take them congregation contribution? Which is it? Is it that the church, the government work out the church member them contribution and spread it across the churches? We don't know.
Tend to miss is that is the amount of loan that you are qualified for. It may not necessarily be sufficient to do what you want to do. But any contributor who walks into NHT now, they are qualified for a loan. The only question is the amount. Any contributor that is current, but under the Melissa relief, you can we relax the section to treat with you being current. And
Right.
that's the reason why we were able to say, once you have contributed to the National Housing Trust, then you can benefit.
Okay, we understand that though, but I think it's a different point. I think it's a different point Mr. Warrington is making. And but before you follow up though, what is I'm trying to understand myself because I think Mr. Warrington caught up news release that I didn't. What is the provision?
Peter Bunting is a hypocrite. Mr. Warrington caught a news release that you didn't. You were in Parliament. I mean, Andrew come out days ago and talk about the money. So we misunderstand him. The money are never for rebuilding. The money is for clean up. Is it that then Peter Bunting, a member of Parliament, is not following up with how things are going in Parliament? What is said in Parliament? What's the point? Why up until now, PNP haven't got a position on the 75 million? PNP haven't got a position on whether the church is entitled to our money. PNP don't have a position as to why is it that we are paying for a national cleanup campaign and then we ought to pay the churches to do their own cleanup. None of those make sense. But the opposition who we choose to ask those questions or to highlight those issues is rather silent about them and leave them to the government own backbencher to be highlighting these issues. Where is the PNP? And what is the PNP's position on this?
Vision that the NHT has under this Melissa recovery for churches.
What we have, Mr. Chairman, is the facility that allows the church to apply for a loan. We look at their cash flow requirements that they would have submitted along with other people to see how they can service this loan.
And this is a loan to repair the
exactly,
church.
Debian.
This is a loan to repair, to assist in terms of the replacement of the roofs.
Of the church, as opposed to a residence.
Right.
Okay.
But if I may.
I just wanted to get clear in my own understanding.
Yes.
But go ahead, you wanted to make something.
But if I may, and sometimes when we talk about getting back the life of Jamaicans to a point where they are reasonably comfortable.
Mr. Miller and the Parliament Committee is having two different conversations. I don't know if you're listening and following here. But Miller and the committee, and go back to the same thing when you're done and listen keenly for yourself. Miller and Warmington is having two different conversations because he knows he cannot keep up with Mr. Warmington's conversation. Him and Peter Bunting, rainy days ahead. Him and Peter Bunting is having a total different conversation. This is why this patch of argument sounds so confusing. This is why it sounds so confusing, because they're both having different conversation. Miller, because Miller is being caught lying in Parliament, because Miller assistance in the money laundering of the hurricane grant is being exposed. He become a fool and attack all sort of madness. But Miller is not addressing the issues, particularly that Mr. Warmington is speaking to. He's not addressing it. And this is why it sounds so confusing. And Peter Bunting is hypocrite because Everett Warmington want to pin him down. And you will hear later on Peter Bunting rule that this is over to continue because Eli Clark don't like this drilling that is going on.
For most of us, Mr. Chairman, and I know that you are aware of life in rural Jamaica, the churches are very, very important part of what? Remember I was talking about
Okay.
Mr. Warmington.
I know of the importance of the church and the part the church plays. No, they can't pray for me. They're not qualified enough.
Mm-hmm.
I go to my church and part of my church. I do not pray at my church in my home. I don't know. Some of those who pray for you, then don't cross and you don't pray for you properly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying I know the importance. So too are the Citizen Association, Kiwanis Club, Lions Club, and all of those. Okay? What I'm saying, you said the church can walk and get the loans because the institution or whatever you. Can the Kiwanis Club? Can the Lions Club? Can Citizen Association? Because special provision and standards were made for the church. So can we include these who pay the community center, the Lions Club, the Friendly Society, or the one to one?
Mr. Chairman.
So I'm asking Mr. Miller.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, no, you finish, Mr. Warmington.
No, you see, I'm not satisfied. I want to know about the other institutions out there.
So
this is only church. I know the importance of the church. Because I give to church, you see, I give to the church. I take care of my church. I pay the entire roof. I put in all the windows, doors, and so on. No, I have my church and work from a boy. So I'm saying I know the importance. Okay? But when a church have over 70 million in its account, what you can provide for them? Most of these churches run as, I'm not talking about the established churches, Baptist, Presbyterian, Anglican, but you have some who come up wayside and have somebody say they have this big elaborate building there and every day you have to carry this and 5 collection a day or offering per day you have to give in the church. And when passing birthday, 5th Sunday you have to give extra one. And past birthday you have to give extra. Those come of church and that's what they establish churches. So I know the issue. So what I'm saying, members of the church have been giving all the while. And the churches that have more than $2 billion in their account, it's time for them to give back to assist the poor persons who have been giving them over the years to rebuild. I don't hear that happening. Plus, we have a lot of individuals who have little businesses and shops and so on that damage and blow down.
But
this is the time when the church has to step up and assist these individuals to restart their small businesses. Okay? To start their business and so on, but not to depend in the government pool to prepare the church. They have enough money to do it. And Mr. Clark, I don't understand. Why you take me on, you know? I know about the church more than you do. So don't take me on this. You can't convince me. I know what I'm talking.
Mr. Chairman, on a point of order, sir.
Yeah.
I hear the member, but I think we're moving away from the real matter of PAAC.
What? You just realize that? I'm surprised.
This is where the disgrace is. We're moving away from the real matter of PAAC. PAAC is the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee. Administration, the business of the people. Appropriations, the disbursement of the people's funds. The handling of the people's funds. How is it then, Heri Clark, we discussing the government and the church trying to swindle $75 million out of our pocket? How is this not what the PAAC does? But the hypocrite Peter Bunting ruled in Hero Clark's favor because Edward Warmington wants to pin Martin Miller down to a particular answer. How does the church become qualified? And if the church is qualified, does it not make other organizations in Jamaica become qualified under this that you are advancing? The PNP are hypocrites. They are in league with it, or they're afraid of the church. Or maybe they might get some of the kickback out of the $75 million.
So I want you to rule on the matter, sir.
All right. I think we've exhausted that issue, and I'm very clear now on Mr. Warmington's position, and I'm going to counsel Mr. Miller not to respond any further. All right, Ms. Burchell.
You hear? Peter Bunting counsels Mr. Miller, do not respond further to Mr. Warmington. That's why I'm telling you all the while, the PNP cannot be trusted. Me never trust them from day one anyway, because as me always telling you, the whole of them is the two sides of the same kind. A 1 cent is a 1 cent. You look panny on that side and you look panny on that side, it's still a 1 cent. So long this has been going on, and the PNP don't even have the respect to give their position to the people. When they see this has become a media storm in our country, it's been back and forth with the churches and Mr. Warmington in the media. Andrew come out, come blame we, say we misunderstand him. Andrew come out, come change him mouth and say, of the rebuilding, of the cleanup. Did the PNP not hear any of this? No, did the PNP not hear any of this over the last few weeks? And in the committee, Peter Bunting is saying he's not aware of the news release. So where is Peter Bunting? And where is the PNP? And that me telling you, the PNP are hypocrite. As long as they get in there, they were going to go silent. Look how Isaac silent. Look how Damian Crawford silent. One Dr. Dawes round here. One Dr. Dawes, because Dr. Dawes not gone silent since Dr. Dawes reaching a parliament. The only reason why make me allow up Dayton Campbell a little bit, Dayton Campbell got a lot on his hands. But the whole on PNP, a lizard belly. Mark Golden, you need to go and you need to free up the PNP. Because this classy uptone scam where you carry gone. This classy uptone scam where you carry gone. You know, say when you pick we up, we are dance pan, we head and dance in a tree, Mark Golden. So how come you come up with this uptone thing now? It have to be so appropriate for us to speak about it. If the PNP is going to continue like this, Andrew Holness is going to get away with everything that the PNP hoot and shoot about when they want to vote. Just like how we see the issues and come out here and tackle them every day and speak up about them. Where is the PNP? This thing has been going on for about 2 weeks now with the $75 million. And to date, they haven't had a word on it. And Sir Peter Bunting are going like, oh, I'm not fully aware what's going on here. These people are hypocrites. Hypocrites. When PNP did one with vote, and when PNP did one with support, them depend on them social media every day. Them can put out this and them can put out that. One of the people of Jamaica, one of what's on the PNP and the Labour right, you know. One of the people of Jamaica You are worse than the PNP and the Labour, right? The Gleaner editorial is calling an Andrew Holness, so the Gleaner must hear what me say. Because this I get serious. Gleaner editorial is calling on Andrew Holness to tell us what the real talk is. Be open about the discussion, the recent telephone call between you and Marco Rubio. Be open about the recent telephone call between you and Marco Rubio. But I'm not going to do a whole heap of reading this morning. There's an article where, I don't know if I have time to read it tonight, but I want to read Floyd Green. I want to read Floyd Green Loot. I want to read Minister Green Loot. But there's quite a few readable articles in the Gleaner this morning. Auditor General slapped Agriculture Ministry for awarding $870 million in contracts without key oversight. So we want to know how much of those young boys and young girls that the minister is sexually abusing for money benefited from this $870 million plus the other $60 million were Floyd Green swindle from the public purse, compromise transparency. Why is this thing freezing upon me? Bear with me, Globalist. Hold on. I'm gonna bear with. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining awarded almost $870 million in contracts without its procurement committee review, on action that compromised transparency, the Auditor General says. In its 2024-2025 annual report released last week, the department reported that the ministry did not prove evidence that the procurement committee met and reviewed recommendations for the award of contract procurements of goods and services totaling $868.85 million. The Government of Jamaica procurement guidelines state that the committee is mandated to review contracts recommendations among all other things. Consequently, the audit was unable to confirm whether procurement decisions were subject to appropriate review and compliance with the established rules. The lack of oversight compromised transparency and highlighted the risk of the ministry not achieving value for money, the report stated. According to Auditor General, the ministry acknowledged the concern but stated that while procurement committee minutes were unavailable, evaluation reports confirm compliance with competitive bidding requirements. However, the Auditor General said that explanation did not address the core breach. Explanation without evidence in law is baseless. The report noted that although evaluation reports showed adherence to competitive bidding, the failure of the procurement committee to meet and review recommendations for the award of contracts procurement of goods and services contravened Section 2 subparagraph Section 2 subsection 2 subparagraph 5 and Section 2 subsection 2 paragraph 5 sub 1 of the Government of Jamaica procurement guidelines. These provision requires the committee to review contracts awarded and evaluation reports, ensure compliance with policies, respond to contractors' inquiry, maintain comprehensive meeting record, meet reporting obligations, and make recommendations to the head of procuring entities. The report concluded that the procurement committee failed to convene and review recommendations, constituted a breach of governance and accountability obligation under the Jamaica government procurement framework. The period over which the contract were issued was not stated in the Auditor General's report. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining is headed by the thief, homosexual, and pussy buyer, Floyd Green. The permanent secretary is Dermot Spence, who is also the the permanent secretary, principal accounting officer of the ministry. So Floyd Green and Dermot Spence need to explain to the people of Jamaica where we money there, how we money go. That's so much millions. We want to know how much a Floyd Green boyfriend them and friends and family get contract. Floyd Green did Junior, Anvar's brother, which is a pastoral relative of yours. Did Junior get any contract from your Floyd Green? Because we know in Floyd Green that you have destroyed agriculture in our country. You mash up St. Elizabeth farming and you take all of the license give to your friends and your family. Remember me know on a Tivoli clique we have an importer's license. Remember say James Robertson bring in GM potato and GM onion and all them something there in Jamaica. So while party people and Southwest Elizabeth people and Black River people sit down and say, this is the best MP Jamaica ever have. This is the MP we are killing off. This is the MP we turn a blind eye to party. This is the MP where right now only upon the party people shame. Because Floyd Green was on a veranda day in, day out, just in August. And now one can't even pick up on a phone and call Floyd Green. But politicians no worse than one of the people of Jamaica. The people of Jamaica is the biggest problem to Jamaica, not the politicians. The politicians are a minority. The politicians in our country are the minority. But you, the so-called majority, as I call the useful idiots, who give over your power to them for nothing at all. Because the deal, party people, especially, academic come from, left the rest of Southwest Central better now. Party people, did you know that on the 3rd of September, when those drivers of Floyd Green runners, pick you up and them give you the $5,000 and you went into the polling station and you mark your X, are you aware that the contractual arrangement between you and the minister came to an end the minute you voted, because you have collected your money before you voted? In contract law, that is the MP filling his side of the bargain. And once you voted, you perform your contractual duties as well. And between that one, I did have the consideration. The contract is performed between Floyd Green and the people of Parity who sold themselves. And I'm going to vote on a sell to Floyd Green, you know. We no sell front and back part to Floyd Green round there. Me want to not touch me tongue, because I know all I know around the way Floyd Green I touch or I sleep with. Party people come touch me tongue now. We no touch it in an election campaign. Why not touch it now? Because all the stretching of my tongue was to defend Mr. Green. I mean, Mr. Green need defense now because we're back at it same way. You see the disgrace on a turn out in a Parity? Parity, have you seen the disgrace on a turn out in a? The same man we are fingering on and abuse on. The same man we want to save on a nice fish them for. Look at you now. You don't even have an MP. You don't have a councillor. And when we talk, it's because we are PNP. I don't want to be neither PNP nor Labour right because none of them have Jamaica people interest at heart. And the sooner you docile Jamaicans wake up to realize that Jamaica's problem is not politician. The bigger part of Jamaica problem is you, the useful idiots, who continue to give them power. When we ask you not to vote for them based on their track record, Uno draw with left, right, and center. Uno draw with left, right, and center. And now there's no Floyd Green. And the whole of you are disgracefully quiet. Parity people, Southwest St. Elizabeth people, you have not been represented in Parliament once. I wonder if we can read a disgraceful church article them, because them are jankro, you know. The church them are jankro too. And you know if on jankro see dead meat, jankro bone for fly down. 170 church. And Jamaicans now get help. But 170 child abusing, fornicating, pedophile church line up to apply for poor people money. And Jamaica people, PNP not see this as a problem because it's obvious that it's not a problem to them because them are going to get somebody kicked back to. And them are going to get whole heap of contract from the JLP government. So that's why PNP is so quiet. More than 170 applications received for the $75,000 church cleanup program, said the SDC. The initiative is part of the post-Hurricane Melissa cleanup program and provide $75 million in grant funding to support cleanup activities and minor repair work to churches. It targets church in western parishes that were impacted by the passage of Hurricane Melissa on August 28. Eligible works includes debris removal, replacement of roof sheetings, door windows, and guttering, basic waterproofing, and other small-scale remedial repair. But you, the people, get enough money to do that because you your whole house knocked down a dot. You only get $500,000. Anyway, Marga, it pop off. You have to deal with what you have there, so. SDC executive Omar Fritz said the volume of the application received underscored the scale of damage caused by Hurricane Melissa in the affected parishes. No. I saw church turn when they hear about money. I saw church turn when they hear their money. That's why them are go toe to toe with Mr. Warmington. That's why them prepare to go toe to toe with everybody, because church generally steal. And church now go see 6.7 billion in US dollars in loan, over 250 odd million, I saw 240 odd million in insurance money, and millions in gifts and donation. The church don't want to be cut out of that. It's always a collusion between the church and state to abuse the people. Go back and check your history of slavery. Go back and check your history of slavery and see if nothing what the church and the government is doing to us now is new. They have always been colluding from the inset. Go and look at the church's history and see if the churches were not all about money, land, and power in Jamaica. To date, you are understanding the massive bank balance of the churches. You're also understanding the amount of land that these churches own. Let's continue reading. To date, the SDC has received 176 applications from churches across 16 constituencies in St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, and Hanover, with the largest concentration of submission coming from St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, and St. James, he told the JIS News. The program has been criticized by some church leaders and government lawmaker Everett Warmington. However, Prime Minister Holness with the titles, who announced the program in December, has defended the initiative. Fritz said the SDC has responsibility for processing application, coordinating field verification exercise, and supervising assessment activities. As part of the verification process, SDC parish team has been deployed to conduct on-the-ground assessment supported by municipal corporation, which will assist in reviewing report damage and ensuring technical consistency across application, the executive director explained. He further emphasized that all activities undertaken must comply with national environmental and public health standards. All debris generated through the cleanup process must be disposed of at approved dumping sites in accordance with guidelines and National Solid Waste Management and the relevant municipal corporation, he said. Highlighting the SDC's support for the government thrust to assist churches, Fritz noted that their function extended beyond spiritual and religious guidance. I didn't know that the churches give spiritual and religious guidance. I'm shocked to be aware of that. Thanks for the information anyway. Churches are integral community development. Churches facilitate are frequently used as emergency shelters. I mean, that's what God would want them to do, isn't it? Particularly in times of crisis, supporting the recovery, strengthening both the institution and the communities they serve and contribute to national recovery and resilience. However, though, you are talking about the same organization where we have to get offering every Saturday and Sunday and go home, go drink a sugar and water and piece of bread and pray to God, and then we end up with diabetic. And if we come to for medication, we come beg or borrow medication money, on a pray for we and tell us to take it to the Lord in prayer. And that's all I do. Move your people. All eligible churches in the affected parishes are encouraged to maintain encouragement with SDC parish offices as a verification process. The Social Development Commission and agencies is an agency of the local government ministry and community development, serve as Jamaica principal community organization working across 775 communities. That's the end of that article. I'm not reading no more for this morning. Maybe tonight I'll come back or read, because there's a Gleaner editorial. And if the Gleaner edit, I'm reading this morning in the Globalist, can I not hit the like button? So I freak with doing this morning. Oh. Let me see how long the editorial will be. Coming in the reading this morning, you know. In a hit. Me just now in a hit this morning. Because Pamela Monroe Ellis, she a go on with herself. We can't get for rest. Can't get no peace, no rest. Be open about US Jamaica talks. Let me look how long this article be. Editorial are normally long. They take forever to finish reading. No, this editorial is a waffle. Permit me to read this editorial tonight. Permit me to, I'm if you read it now. Which one? I don't even know. But no, this is quite a waffle now. You're not reading right now. No, I'm gonna read this this editorial tonight. There's quite a mouthful of it, and we want to keep I'm gonna do it under a Caribbean geopolitical tension heading. So that's catered to that particular program. So I will read this editorial tonight. I don't know, when Gleaner editors them are right, then take forever if they don't chat. I mean, I did chat this morning. I read 2 phone already. Wanna lock you, get away. So when we come back this evening, we're going to look at the Gleaner editorial, and as I have been asking Andrew Holness from the other night and been asking Jamaica people to ask them, what are these talks about? What have the Prime Minister signed us up to? What is it that the Americans are expecting from us? The Americans, my people, Jamaica is not an important ally to the United States. When a president comes to power, there are particular people who they cater to first. They would call the first 2 people they would pick up their phone and call after inauguration is Britain and Israel. Then they would call their lesser counterparts across Europe. Then they will call people like China, Russia, India. The last set they're going to pick up their phone and call is the African leaders and the Caribbean leaders. Trust me, that's how international diplomacy works. Now, when you see the US presidents come to power and visit your country or send their foreign secretary to your country, it's either to do with your security or economic ties. Your security or your economic ties. Now, Jamaica is not an important ally or country to America in the grand scheme of international diplomacy. So to see Marco Rubio came to Jamaica within weeks of the inauguration, after Melissa, and you remember the orders given before and after the Cuban nurses, China investment, and all of that. After Hurricane Melissa, we saw one of the undersecretaries of Marco Rubio office visiting Jamaica as well. We are nowhere closer to know what that visit was about. The one I found alarming was when Pete Hegist, one of Pete Hegist undersecretary, the undersecretary of war, visited Jamaica. And then Marco Rubio called again. But you see, two don't believe me or no did think me did just say so. This was from close diplomatic contacts that this information was shared. The Americans gave Andrew Holness in 2023 2 years to roll back China investment, or they will take control of Jamaica in Mel how you do, or they will take back control of Jamaica in 2 years. Anybody, thanks Mel, anybody who have followed me from 2023, you would have heard me said that quite a few times in 2023 and last year. It is 2025 now. The 2 year with Donald Trump, where America give Andrew Holness. And you remember we used to play one video with Maxine Waters, because when the Ukraine war did start and sanction was flying left and right pan Russia. Once some mining deal where Russia did have at Jamaica, the Chinese, them, I don't remember the name. No, remember said the takeover happening in 2025. At 2025, Melissa happened, and all of a sudden the Americans them come in and take back over Jamaica. But I've been telling you about this for a long while. See, they know the takeover happening at 2025, and we're seeing the US giving instructions to Andrew Holness. Donald Trump is not one. You see, if I did Biden did it, or if I did Kamala, Andrew would have left to steal in a piece. Andrew is kind of in a quandary right now, and I'll tell you why. Donald Trump is not a reliable idiot. He's an unpredictable idiot. So what Donald Trump says 9 o'clock this morning isn't the same thing midday, and will not be the same thing 6 p.m. This is the bigger problem. Corrupt leaders like Andrew Holness and Tinubu is having. They will have to go cap in hand with Donald Trump, because they cannot, for any reason, allow Donald Trump to have a bad feeling or anything, because Donald Trump do not play the diplomatic, the whole diplomacy bullshit. If you notice, he's just a raw marble player on the pitch where, if needs be, Donald Trump will grab the whole ring of marble and run off with it. That's Donald Trump. So if you're a corrupt leader like Andrew Holness, you're going to be very careful, especially since Donald Trump elected, he's been in your neck. And if you go back to Donald Trump's first 4 year, when it was that Donald Trump as opposed to this improved in senility Donald Trump, you would not want to rock the boat with Donald Trump. And this is Andrew Holness's predicament. This is why Andrew Holness throw way up in the air and say, hey, take it. Hey, take it. If it saves me an indictment, if it saves me the orange jumpsuit, if it saves Delta picking me and Rhoda or Juliet out of the bed, crack a dawn, I must follow the rules. You don't understand the predicament where we're in? Do you understand the predicament where we're in? Say, is a madman. Will country been transferred from a thief to a madman? Jamaica. You don't understand, so we just transfer over from a thief to a madman. God help the whole away. Hey, go on about my business because to say. Because to say them are people yeah, no one no good. If election call tomorrow morning, they sell front and vote just like that. Because today belly full are the problem. Anyway, I come go on about my business before when I run out and come tackle me, because well, no one war with me now, labor rights. Anyway, labor rights and Dennis Brooks. Deep underneath Dennis. Did I tell you all Dennis Brooks and the labor right them? Violet Watson, oh you do. Paul Johnson. Dennis Brooks and the labor right them. Try get my Facebook page banned the other day. They were unsuccessful. Yes, you all have suspended my monetization for a while. But them tomorrow your birthday, all right, we'll do a birthday celebration for you tomorrow. I want me to talk about. Yes, when I manage to suspend my monetization on Facebook temporarily, them something there now gonna make on control my free speech. Them something they now gonna make on abuse me on Facebook and me not respond to no. But here what? Because of bravery, right now me have 2 Facebook out there. 2 monetized Facebook a beat and a grow. Uno no see so no can't stop me. Labor rights, no matter a TikTok alone follow uno and the fuckery with the reporting on my platform and keeping my platform. Uno can't stop me on YouTube and Facebook. TikTok is not in the so-called democratic society. TikTok come from the dictatorship of things, so them not like when you talk. But in a YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, we have we mouth for flatter, and so we're going to flatter it, because you see, the Prime Minister threaten we. There's already a declare war out here. So I uno cast upon ourselves, media do give to no pan one Facebook, no one I get it pan 2. How that go? It only was meant to calm me down. Wanna make me all come out with more crowd. Anyway, gone about with business. Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon from Global TV, and come back later. Make we read what the gleaners say both Andrew Holness commuting, galanging with Donald Trump and Marco Rubio. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon.
Too long in our little ghetto, run keep going on, less process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So just as I and I as a watching man, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Hey, oh, night. We gonna bust down Babylon walls. Prepare every the way. Prepare every the way for your people. Let's go. Fight down, war and cry. Fight down, me say Rastafari. War and cry and do the righteousness. Hey, we love. And we love Jaja. And we love Jaja. Save all people. And we love Jaja. We love Jaja. We love Jaja. Rastafari. Save all people. Put time away. Put time away again. Listen, yeah. Just as I and I as a watching man, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace while we penalize. Hey, oh, night. We gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare every the way. Prepare every the way for Rastafari. Fight down, war and cry. Fight down, war and cry. Rastafari, war and cry. And build up righteousness. And we love Jah. And we love Jah. And we love Jah. Rastafari. We love all. And we love Jah. Me love Jah. Me love Jah. Rastafari. Preserve all. Me love Jah. Rastafari. Yeah, the next song is going to be the last song for tonight.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.